talk about this some more, about the shrinking college population. We're joined by Dr. Bari Norman. She's co-founder and head counselor at Expert Admissions. You know, these numbers, these declining enrollment numbers look like a trend, is it?
Well, we know that it is, and we've known this is coming, actually. Really? Demographers have been telling us for a long time that the high school population will be shrinking, and we're seeing that come to fruition. I think we're also seeing people question whether or not a college education is a good investment.
But that's not good, is it?
Well, it depends. I think people still are going to college. There are some people certainly going into the workforce, and college isn't right for everybody, by the way, right? There are trade schools, vocational schools, the job force, the workforce. But I think one of the interesting things about this study is that we found that nonprofit colleges saw an increase, right? So we're seeing, I think, people saying, these for-profit colleges, maybe I'm not getting the return on investment that I expected to or that I want to. And so they're seeking degrees at four-year institutions.
So how do you explain this slide in college enrollment, in the continuing trend that Derek mentioned? Does it have to do something necessarily with the economy, maybe new, non-traditional job opportunities, or does it have to do something with the student debt?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think we know that there's a student loan crisis in this country. With for-profit colleges, we've seen lawsuits come up where they're saddling students with a lot of debt and students are not able to get out of it. So this is a particular issue. So not surprising that for-profit colleges are seeing the biggest decreases, and encouraging, in fact, that other schools are seeing the increase.
This seems to be the opposite of the issue we're seeing in the college admission scandal, where it's alleged that parents are cheating their children's way into college. Here we have a situation where students are just skipping school to go into the workforce for whatever reason. Either one is not good, though, I would think. I mean, we want a college-educated workforce because that contributes to the economy, doesn't it? I mean, more so than skill jobs and trade jobs, right?
I think it's a mix, actually. I really, truly don't think college is for everybody. And not every profession needs a college degree. I'm not saying that it couldn't necessarily help somebody, but is it necessary? Is it a worthwhile investment? We know, you mentioned the college admissions scandal and the more selective colleges. Only 17 schools in this country admit fewer than 10% of applicants. Another 29 schools admit between 10 and 20%, but more than half of the colleges in this country admit at least 2/3 of applicants.
So how are these numbers from this research impacting small and big schools?
So it depends what type of school it is. It depends on the level of selectivity. It depends what kind of degrees are offered. We have seen closures of multiple schools, particularly in the New England area, smaller colleges that were having a hard time getting enrollment up, close. So we're seeing some colleges close, and that is something that we'll see more of, and this is a result of that as well.
But if this trend continues, should we be worried about what the American workforce will look like 20 years from now?
You know, I don't know the demographics off the top of my head for the longer term.
Sure.
I'm not concerned about in this particular instance. Again, I think we're still seeing robust interest in four-year private colleges. We're still seeing good enrollment in state institutions. We are seeing the decline in the for-profit world, though.
Is it a unique phenomena, this trend here in the U.S.? I don't want to put you on the spot, but is it part of a larger trend that maybe we're seeing in other Western countries?
Well, we have such a peculiar system here, right? We're the only ones in the world that have this holistic admissions process that's not particularly straightforward, and it's very confusing to people. So we're just, I think, in our own sort of ether in that regard.
By the way, are more American students going now to study in other places, like in Europe, in Australia, than previously?
I don't know that.
Because that might be one variable that affects that.
I don't know the statistics for sure, but given the cost of American higher education, it is certainly an attractive option for many people. Whether or not they're doing it, I'm not sure about the numbers.
All right.
My kids are going to college, and they're not going to cheat their way in, I promise.
I hope so.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bari Norman. Thanks for your
Thank you.
insight. All right.